We begin this morning with Kelly Seuhs, one of our OSU Extension entomologists, talking about an insect we're starting to see in wheat fields this year. Kelly, tell us all about it, what you're seeing, and kind of where.
We've got some reports the last week or so from central Oklahoma. Some of our colleagues put out a fact sheet our EPEST alert last week, talking about green bugs in wheat. It's a pest that we see throughout the Great Plains in Oklahoma and the wheat belts. It's sporadic. Sometimes it doesn't affect every year. It may not affect the entire field, but it can cause some significant problems if it develops like we're starting to see this time of year.
What do you think the conditions are, why we're seeing it this year?
It's kind of a lot of different things lining up together. We had, back in early February, late February, early March, we started seeing some transition from the cooler weather to the warmer weather. Temperatures got into that 65 to 75 degree range, and that's prime optimum conditions for green bug development. Conjointly with that that's a little bit early for any of our beneficials or natural enemies to help with control. And so compound that with the lack of rain in some areas, and it just escalates the problem. And then we don't have any natural enemies to control this pest.
So what is the damage potential if it becomes more widespread in a field?
The damage potential this time of year is a little bit different than in the fall. We're talking about a newly planted stand. We're talking about the toxins being introduced into the plant, starting about chlorosis, starting out yellowing of the leaves, and then finally the necrosis or deadening of the plant, death of the plant. The problem in the springtime is we're also dealing with the flag leaf. We're at a late vegetative state, and so if we have a lot of population build up this time of year, then if it damages the flag leaf, that's what feeds the energy and the nutrition of the plant to develop the seed head. And so if we have a lot of damage right there during this time of year, it can cause some significant yield loss.
So that obviously is concerning. So what kind of guidance do you have for producers? I guess kind of get out in the field and see what's out there.
You bet. We just need to be out scouting. One of our best tools that we have once you identify your pest is the Glance and Go system that was developed by some entomologists several years ago. It's a simple app. It's a free app that you can download on your phone. Once you get it downloaded, you input some information like the cost of your control for that field per acre, the value of the crop per acre. Then you put the timing of the season. We're in the spring, so we didn't put that. Start scouting, makes a zigzag appearance throughout the field, make different stops throughout the field to get a good representation. We look at about 3 tillers. We're also looking at any kind of aphid mummies where they've been parasitized by parasitic wasps, and the app will actually tell you if it's time to spray or keep sampling, or if it tells you to stop, then you can come back several days later and do the same thing. If you don't want to go the app route, you can do the old-fashioned way of just going out throughout the field, same zigzag pattern, sampling. The old rule of thumb was around this time of year, about 300 to 500 aphids per linear foot. And so if we start seeing that kind of activity, that kind of population building, then it might be time to make some kind of spray decision.
So you and the team have a fact sheet that helps with kind of that piece of it, right?
If the spray decision is made that we need to spray, then there's a fact sheet, current report 7194, that talks about not only aphids, green bugs, but also other insect pests and small grains that they can choose from different products. There are several of them that are pyrethroid in nature, which are broad spectrum, which are going to cover a lot of different pests, even the beneficials. And so there's other products like a Savanto or a Transform that are a little bit easier on beneficials. So that might be an option. One thing to keep in mind with the products is, depending on what you're going to do with the crop, whether you're going to hay it or graze it or harvest it, grazing restrictions. Grazing restrictions is going to be different on every product. And the harvest intervals are going to be different on every product. So we got to read the label, depending on what product you're using, read the label to make sure that you're following the rules.
And so do your homework.
Do the homework. Do your homework.
Study your fact sheet.
That's right.
All right, Kelly, thanks so much for the updates.
You bet.
And for a link to the fact sheet that Kelly mentioned, we have it for you at sunup.okstate.edu.